This is Sports Federation TV. We're chatting fencing. We've had an interesting chat with sports fitness and aerobics, and now we're moving to something slightly different. Randall, how are you?
Good evening, Alton. I'm fine. Yourself?
I'm good. Welcome back into studio.
Thank you. It's good to see you again.
Young lady. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. And you?
I'm okay. You got a nice little tracksuit. We'll discuss how you got to that tracksuit. Randall, let's start with you. Fencing is a bit of an interesting sport. You got these sabers, I think it's called.
Epee.
Epee.
We have this evening, yes. In fact, the fencer I have with me, name is Kesiah Matthews. She competed last year in Botswana, the Junior African Championships, and will also be competing in the Commonwealth, Junior Commonwealth Games, which will be at UCT this year in July, the month of July. So she's part of a high performance in Cape Town itself, trains at the high performance quite regularly, and that is where we're at the moment with Kesiah.
And fencing, is it a popular sport in a general sense? You don't see or hear lots about fencing, or am I mistaken?
Yeah, it's not of the same size of the major sports, but we do have quite a few people fencing. In fact, in the projects that I'm busy with, we have plus minus 60 plus fencers competing. It's a Langa Fencing Club, Crystal House, Kesiah's in fact from Crystal House itself. And then of course in Manenberg we have Kristen. Kristen's helping out as an ex-student of Crystal House. She's also training on a Saturday morning, giving back to the community. So many of the learners there come from the various townships, which we're talking about Bokmakiri, we took Mitchell's Plain, Delft, Langa, Kailicha, etc. Yeah.
So fencing is growing in numbers.
Yes, we're growing in numbers. We always have our challenges, and I think the main thing is having enough equipment for all. There's lots of people that would like to fence, but the amount of equipment available and the cost is a bit of a challenge, Alton.
What's a starter kit cost for a set like this? I mean, I may be confused, but this looks like a fairly expensive set.
No, Alton, what we actually do is that when we go to the World Champs, we have people selling, and you can purchase quite cheap on the international market. It's when you import them direct, then it do cost us quite a bit, because then we have additional costs as well.
Import duties.
Yes. So in that sense, I mean, I could put a weapon together for, let's say, 160 Rand. But if I'm going to purchase a weapon, it could cost me up to 500 Rand for the very same weapon. The mask itself, also, it's the same thing there. We would pay about 500 Rand for a mask, a decent mask. A whole kit we could put together between 1,500 and 2,000 Rand. And if you look well after it, it could last you at least 4 to 5 years. So it works out cheap in comparison to many other sports. That is much more expensive.
And it's long lasting as well. It's not something you're going to use today and in next season you need to change it.
No.
Because it's rugged and it's hard wearing.
The worst scenario is when a blade breaks. Then you have to replace your blades. And a blade I normally overseas pick up for about 10 euros. 10 euros, that would be about 100 and odd Rand. Yeah. But if I should import it, obviously it's going to be a different scenario altogether. And with the fences that I have, we don't break many blades. If it's 2, 3 per, would I say 6 months or so? I would even say a year.
Sure.
So our weapons do last us quite long. We do our own repairs as well, and that also saves us quite a bit.
For sure.
Yeah.
Young lady, the floor is yours. So tell me a bit about this tracksuit. How come you got this tracksuit?
I took part in the African Youth Games. I qualified for fencing. I was the women epee. There was one female per weapon, and I was chosen for that weapon.
How did it make you feel?
It made me feel important and proud of my achievement.
And at school, what do people think of you?
They proud, I guess.
And how did you start fencing? Where did it all start?
At school, it was my my sister started. She was a fencer, and then it like influenced me, and so I also wanted to start fencing.
And she's the inspiration to get you fencing.
Yes.
Okay, we'll chat to your sister just now. So going to Port Gaborone, was that your first trip overseas?
Yes, it was.
Or out the country, let's not say overseas.
Yes, it was the first time.
And what was it like?
It was a new experience. It was very different, and I met like a lot of strangers and people, and I made more friends.
And are you still in contact with them?
Yes, I am.
What was the competition like in South Africa versus there?
It was very different because like the other athletes, they were much older than I was, and much taller, and they had like more advantage. So it was very different.
So how do people find out more about fencing? Is there a Facebook page? Is there YouTube? All of those kinds of things?
We're still under SAFA, South African Amateur Fencing Association. The new name is Fencing Federation of South Africa. You'll also see under Western Cape Fencing. Also, you'll find that you can get information there. On Facebook, yes, you just Google fencing, Western Cape fencing. You'll find it there also, as well as South African fencing. And
But your Facebook page is full of fencing stuff as well.
oh yeah. Well, I'm so to say full-time involved with fencing. So a lot of things do pass through my Facebook page. If you do go on my Facebook page, you'll be able to go to the others as well, connect immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's next other than the Commonwealth, Junior Commonwealth Games, I think you said, eh?
Yes, the Junior World Commonwealth Games is being held in July. But we also have a very important competition taking place before that, and that's in May, the 1st to the 3rd of May. That's going to be in Gauteng. It's an international event, senior épée, ladies épée event. It's a ranking event, so people will participate from right around the world. It's the first for us. In the last, we had a very major, big competition, if I can recall, was 1997. We had the World Championships. We had the Africa Championships in 2013 in Cape Town. But this world event is new for us, and this will be taking place the 1st to the 3rd of May in Johannesburg.
And are athletes preparing for it? Have they qualified?
Oh yes, they're definitely preparing. They are in the process of qualification. Because we're hosting, there's extras allowed to participate as well. And with my last meeting that I've attended as such, everything is going to plan. Yes.
And did we have to upgrade lots of things to make this event happen from a technical point of view?
Oh, Elton, yes. When you do an international event, obviously it's international standards. And when you do it for the first time, the cost is quite a bit. You really have to go to town. You have to get piece, which we fence on. The quality and the standard of it must be proper. The equipment, videoing, everything, all those things have to come in. At the same time of that, we're hoping to be using possibly in Cape Town as well with the Junior Commonwealth Games. Yeah.
So you got the event in May, you got the Commonwealth, Junior Commonwealth, and from a league point of view, do you guys have leagues? Do you have regular competitions in Western Province?
Oh yes, we have the Western Province competitions, and we have the Western Cape competitions. We just had a Western Cape competition at Crystal House about a month ago, which was the 2nd ranking. In fact, I sent some information through. We also have, for the first time this year, a competition in Port Elizabeth. Last year we had a first in George, which was very interesting, very nice, especially for people from the other provinces who have never been in that particular areas. We do also assist our development fences with accommodation. And in the 25th of July, the competition we are hosting at Crystal House, we're also going to assist with accommodation as we do have some beds available, especially for those kids who cannot afford accommodation. Yeah.
So fencing's alive and well in other parts of the Western Cape, not just Cape Town.
Oh yes, a very interesting project I was involved with is Namatu Fencing Club. It's in Namatu Township, and that is in Port Alfred. And it was really amazing when I came there for the first time to see this taking place. And I'm sure they will also come down to compete as such. And they were the starters. And after that, we have the University of Port Elizabeth, who's also come on board now. So fencing in the Eastern Cape is taken. We're now busy in the Northern Cape, in Berkeley West,
Nice.
small town. But yes, we have some small projects going as well.
Awesome. Randall, thank you for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Let's take a short ad break. We'll come back to more fencing after the break. See you now. This is Sports Federation TV. We're chatting fencing. I'm joined by Kristen, the older sister.
Hi.
So,
Evening.
according to Kesiah, you are the reason that she's sitting in that tracksuit. Is that true?
Well, sort of, because I started fencing at Crystal House. So she used to, when I used to babysit, I used to take her with me to my matches. But it also 50% was all her hard work. So it's half me and half her.
Okay, so tell us a bit about you. I mean, you come from where? Where do you guys grow up?
In Manenberg, both of us, we live in Manenberg. Manenberg, as you know, it's a crime-infested area, but there are a lot of good things happening in Manenberg, and there are a lot of good people with great talents in Manenberg. I and my sister, we had the opportunity to go to a very good school, Crystal House, South Africa. So therefore, it also put us one ahead of the rest of the people in our community. So.
And then you started fencing.
Yes, I started fencing when I was grade 9, I think. Started with Randall. I started fencing, and then thereafter I went to Senegal in 2011. The end of 2011, I went there for 1 year, and I did a professional fencing coaching course, and it is accredited with the International Fencing Federation.
What was that like, going for a year to a foreign country,
It was very
just
different.
doing fencing?
It was very, very different. I couldn't speak French. Just very, very different. But I learned very quickly. I learned to pick up the culture and the people also, and also better myself in the sport that I love, and also find a different aspect of fencing, and not just being an athlete, but also going into coaching.
Kesiah, did you miss your sister? Oh, you're happy not to have her though.
It was half and half.
And now that she's back, does she coach you? Because she's now a top class international coach.
She does coach me sometimes, but the studying takes most of the time, so there's not really full-time coaching happening.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you a question. Have the two of you competed against each other?
Yes.
And who's the winner?
The last round she won me. She won me. I'll give that to her. But it's because I'm a good coach, so it's given.
Oh, is that what it is? Is that what it is? Let's see what fencing's really about. These two have decided to put on a show for us. Let's check it out.
Your point always has to face the outside, otherwise it will also be a point for yourself and for your opponent. So our first, this is your on-guard position. The on-guard position is important because all movements afterwards come from your on-guard position. So your other movements after this will not be executed perfectly if your on-guard position is not okay. So now I'm going to do the direct attack. So I'm going to invite her, she's going to touch me. Okay, that's good. Okay, so now get a perfect touch. You have to keep your opponent's leg outside of you. That's outside, right? Then okay. The double line. It's a small step, which is called balestra lunge, which is Italian, or small hop. She had a balestra and then a lunge, which then means that the distance that I took was way too big. So she closed on her opponent by adding a balestra to a step. That is very proactive. So now we are back at the touch distance, where she can touch me from where she's standing, right? So now I'm going to add a little step. Perfect. And now this. Okay. That is perfect. Now you can put your arm back. Okay. So now we're going to do an indirect attack. An indirect attack means that I'll add pressure to a weapon by opening my hand to supination and her arm will be in pronation, and then she will close my women at the same time. Supination. Perfect. Now let's turn around. So now we have to do externality. The minute I add pressure, you disengage and you touch your right. That's the second before you go to the outside. Your foot must not go there.
That was quite interesting, you two playing with the, what's it called?
Epes.
Epee. Interesting name. So now that you both into fencing, what did the rest of your community feel about you being involved in fencing? I mean, it's different for them in Manenberg.
Yes, it is very different. A lot of people has different perceptions of the sport, but I've tried with my small club that I have going on in Manenberg on a Saturday morning, Manenberg Blades, to also get the children involved with fencing and also to open up their minds and to have them experience like a quarter of what I've experienced.
And is it working?
Sort of.
When you walk around with this SA tracksuit, what do people say in Manenberg?
They ask me what sport I do, and then I explain, and then they ask me what is it all about. So I tell them, and I give them like a view, an overview of what fencing is really about.
And you give them a demo in the street, like this is how it's done.
Not really.
Why not?
Not always.
Is that not what it's about?
No.
And do you find that after you explain that people come and they want to participate?
Sometimes people say they want to start fencing, and then I don't know, they just forget or something.
So how big is your club, Christine?
Well, there's like 20 to 25 children from age 7 to say 60.
And how often do you coach them? Once a week only?
It used to be on Thursday afternoons after school, but my studies had to take priority, so I shifted it to Saturday mornings.
So now you coach and you study and you participate as well, or
Yes,
you
I started to participate again recently again.
is that why she could beat you?
Yes,
Because
that's
you
the
keep
only
getting
reason
back.
why.
You're getting back. And someone else is in top form, you know,
Yes,
got the high
yes.
performance. Eh? Kesiah, so where else do you compete? Are you in the league, or do you just in the high performance program?
Yeah, I'm also in the national team for South Africa, and we compete in different provinces around during the year, and that's where we get our national ranking and our provincial ranking.
So when you come in as Kesiah and they hear the name, do people get scared?
Only
'Cause you're an SA
sometimes,
player.
only sometimes people feel kind of intimidated because of my uniform.
And how does that make you feel?
Makes me feel good about myself, because then I've like one advantage, I think, because people are gonna like be afraid, so I can win.
Does that mean that you play harder, or do you take it easier because now people are intimidated by you?
I play harder
Why?
so that I can have better points
Okay.
and go further in the competition.
Okay. And you, how often do you compete now? You said you just started. Is it league, or are you back into?
No, with fencing we have national and provincial rankings. So depending on your provincial ranking, you move on to national ranking, just like in any other sport. So 2 weeks ago I competed in the provincial. So I'm hoping to compete further.
Okay. On next Saturday morning, where do people come and see the club in Manenberg?
Manenberg at Green Pastures Church on the corner of Jordan and Tuinefontein.
Do we need to bring anything? Can we just rock up?
No, but dress comfortably.
Shorts, t-shirt, tacky.
Yes.
Is that comfortably? Not in a SA tracksuit.
If you have one, you can.
If you, only if you have one, you can. Eh? Ladies, thank you. It's
Thank
been
you.
great having you in studio.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be watching you and to see the results as you climb up and see at the Junior Commonwealth Games. Okay? Let's take a short ad break. We'll see you now.